That's what this movie is. Jump scares. Get used to it.
The Curse of La Llorona.
So The Curse of La Llorona is the newest installment of the whole Conjuring Universe. What is this, like the sixth one now? And it's about the Curse of La Llorona. It's in the title. You should know what it's about. But in case you don't know the story, the Curse of La Llorona. I suck at Spanish. La Llorona. I believe that translates to crying woman. It's about a woman who, back in 1673 in Mexico, had this husband who was cheating on her, and so she drowned their two kids to get back at him. And then she had all this guilt, so then she drowned herself, and now she just takes other people's kids to replace hers, and she drowns other people's kids. And then meanwhile, it's 1973, and we got this woman who has her kids like hidden in her closet, and then the caseworker, who's the main protagonist that we're following, has to basically take this woman's kids away from her. She's trying to protect them from the ghost, but she's like, no, you're just hiding them in the closet because you're abusive, and then she takes the kids away, and then the kids end up dying, and now the ghost is now following the main protagonist's family. Now, this movie, let me just go into my negatives. First off, this movie doesn't even need to be a Conjuring Universe, okay? It doesn't feel like it is part of this universe. It has really no connective tissue whatsoever, and the little thing that tries to connect it is so, like, not even necessary. It's so loosely connected to this universe, and it doesn't even need to be in 1973. There's like nothing in this film besides like a Johnny Carson reference and the TV that they have, which is a color TV in 1973. This single mom, I mean, who's a caseworker, she must have a lot of money. I thought color TVs were expensive. But yeah, like it doesn't even need to be 1973. It doesn't even need to be in this universe. It just kind of just feels wasted. Like why? It doesn't need to be, in my opinion. Like there's one Annabelle like reference from this priest who's like, yeah, I became a firm believer in this, paranormal stuff when I encountered this Annabelle doll. That was it. So that's the only connective tissue. I think the biggest negative walking out of this movie by myself, by the way, I saw this movie by myself. First showing for today, no one else was there, so I had the whole theater to myself. But the biggest negative is the CGI face, and it's done way too much. Every time you see her, it's a CGI face. You never see the actual monster face. It's always a CGI cover up, and it's just CGI tears coming out of her face. It's so annoying. CGI faces do not work. It's just jarring. It takes you out of the moment. Another thing this movie suffers from is just the cliches, the scare setups, the way they're set up. It's just like by the books, It's just like this is how they all do it, and you just see it coming a mile away. You see one movie like this, you've seen them all. The doors creaking, the doors slowly opening, then slamming shut. Like the whisper, and then the score will fade away. And then the camera will just look at something for like 5 seconds, and you count like 3, 2, boom, there it is. Like you just know it's coming, and it's so annoying. There was one moment where like it did that and then nothing happened. I was like, oh, thank you for not doing the same shit. And then it does it again later. Oh, fuck, you ruined it. Another thing this movie suffers from is bad trailer syndrome, where the trailer will show you over half of the actual scares in the movie. I think there's probably, like, jump scare wise, half a dozen to like 10 maybe, where she'll pop up, and I think half of them are in the fucking trailer, and all the good ones too. And you've had plenty of time to see this trailer, because I remember seeing the trailer for this movie like last October, like the first week of October. So this thing has been advertised for a long time. So it's been spoiled. And my last nitpick is just like, question really is, why does the ghost even mark the mothers? She marks the mom at the beginning, Patricia, and then she marks Anna. And she never tries to kill those people. She's always trying to kill kids, right? That's her thing. Why mark the mothers? Just wondering. Alright, my pauses. I really enjoy the lore of this movie. The lore they set up, they don't elaborate too much, but they elaborate just enough. The beginning, it starts in 1773 or 1673, and we actually see her drowning her kids. It's fucking brutal. I think that's the only reason this movie is rated R, because there's like no cussing, there's no blood, there's nothing at all. So it's like, why is this rated R? Because we see a little kid drowning at the beginning, maybe? I guess that's rated R material. But I like the lore, I like the story, and there's one good moment of suspense for me. I mean, I'm very hard to scare, but there was one good moment of suspense at the end involving a kid reaching for her doll, and they really extended that scene to make it, to make it more suspenseful. They really just drew it out. Not too long, just long enough. The movie flows pretty well, the story, and it's not too. It's only 93 minutes, so it's just a perfect like paranormal movie, horror movie length. So it doesn't feel too long. I wasn't bored at all, really. I was tired. I haven't slept yet, so I was tired. And this movie actually kept me entertained. I think the best part of the movie that saves it overall from just being like, oh, just another stock cliche paranormal movie was the third act. It actually had a slight little twist, if you can call it that, that I didn't see coming, involving some other characters. So yeah, I was like, whoa, I did not see that coming. And then the biggest thing I love is that this movie actually has a happy ending. I hope. Maybe I misinterpreted the final shot, but I think this was a happy ending. They live happily ever after. And we don't get that enough in horror movies. It's always like, oh, they didn't defeat it. It's still there. They're still fucked. There's actually a happy ending to this movie. Like, when does that happen? Seriously. And the last 5 minutes of the movie, I was like screaming in my head, like, don't fucking do it. Don't do the stupid, like, the final scare, it's still there, and then they roll the credits, and it didn't happen. I was like, yes, finally. I like the characters. I like the mom. She's believable. She has some good. She cares for these kids, and you believe it. She even cares for these other kids that died at the beginning. She's a caseworker, so she deals with kids all the time. She's got a dead husband. I'm not even sure how recently the husband's been dead, but she's like a single mom now, and she's taking care of these two kids. And the chemistry is believable, and the acting from the kids is good. There's a couple small moments of comedy in this movie, but it's not cringy, and it's not well placed or anything where it's like, ugh, why? Taking me out of the moment. And I especially enjoy the irony of this caseworker. She has like this coworker that she doesn't like, and when they think that she's abusing her kids, that caseworker becomes her caseworker. I was like, oh, how ironic. Saw it coming, but it was funny. Overall, I was surprisingly not like bored by this movie. I wasn't like, oh, typical. I actually was slightly entertaining, just a little bit. It still has all the cliches, just like The Nun, but this is a major step up from The Nun. This one's actually decent compared to The Nun. Like, The Nun was just, ugh. The characters are still way better in this one. This story's a lot better. So I'll say when it comes to The Curse of La Llorona, just maybe rent this one at Redbox. And those are my thoughts on The Curse of La Llorona. Have you seen this movie yet? Is it close to the actual lore? I haven't looked it up, so let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hit this like button, and you can subscribe to my channel just by clicking on my cartoon face in about 5 seconds to see more. Thank you so much, and until next time, I'll read you soon.